Hi guys, I've got another page in my traveler's notebook today for you, and you'll have to excuse me a little bit because I am feeling quite under the weather, but nothing gets me off the couch faster to record a video for you guys than a new coffee themed stamp from Kellie Stamps. So today I am going to use the new coffee loading stamp set, and that is available in the store today along with quite a few other beautiful stamps, but of course this is the one that I'm going to go with first. So today I'm going to create a page with this stamp set based on my coffee photos, and I've also grabbed the All Heart collection to work with as well. So you'll see me here, I'm just picking out a couple of papers. I wanted a sort of darker one on this side because I am going to do a cut file on there and I want it to stand out against the white background. So I'm going to take you over to the computer and do that now. So I've just opened a new document in the Silhouette Studio software, and I'm going to drag in the blah 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 coffee digital stamp and just grab my, oops, it was already there, my trace tool to select the trace area. Now the little stamp is pretty small, but it will trace fine. And then click trace, and then I can go ahead and delete the file that was underneath. And now I have my cut file of the digital stamp. This is a super easy way to use digital stamps as cut files. You can interchange them, so this is a really fun way. I'm going to just draw out a rectangle that's like 6 by 8 inches just because that's the size of my paper. But the actual notebook size is going to be more like 4 inches, something like that. So just to give me a guideline for where I'm going to place this and how big I want it. And I think I'm going to put it sort of down this bottom left hand corner there. It gives me a little bit of extra room on that side. And then I can just delete these. I don't need it to cut the actual rectangles, just the cut file. And when I am putting my paper onto my cutting mat, I'm going to be really careful to make sure it lines up at the bottom of 8 inches and this left side here. And then it should cut in exactly the same place that I want it. And I can go ahead and send it to my silhouette. Don't need cardstock glitter. I'm gonna say it is pattern paper medium probably, and so it's gonna auto adjust, but I will go ahead and send that to my Cameo. So that cut really nicely, as you can see. I obviously picked the right setting for that. And on this side here, I'm going to trim off the top little branding strip, and because that's not quite tall enough for the Traveler's Notebook page, I am trimming that slightly thinner than sort of 4 inches, just to give it an even white border all around the page. And on this side I'm doing the opposite. I'm just going to trim it so it fits the page exactly, and I'm going to leave the branding strip at the top just to give a little bit of extra pattern. At the start of the video I was pointing out that the reason I'm putting pattern paper on both sides of this notebook spread this time is because both sides of this spread have sort of ghosting from stamping on the previous pages, on the pages either side. So I couldn't leave it white. I did need to cover it up a little bit, and I love this pattern paper, so I have no problem filling up both sides of it with that. Because I left that branding strip on the piece of paper on the right hand side of the page, it's got that little hole in it that they use for display in the store, so I needed to be able to cover that up. And what I did was just place my photo right at the top of the page. It's got a white border around it so it stands out against that darker background. That covers up the hole, and it just makes that pattern paper at the top from the branding strip kind of look like a decorative element rather than an attached piece of paper that I've forgotten to cut off. Now the photo underneath it, I have hinged that with a piece of gold washi tape. So I put the washi tape on the front and then flipped it up and put a piece on the back too, which is going to give me a little spot for some hidden journaling. Not because my journaling is particularly private or needs to be hidden, but because I want this whole page to be just beautiful embellishment really without the journaling showing, so I'm going to hide that underneath. And at the moment what I'm going to do is just combine elements from the sticker sheets that I've got along with some of the stamps from that Kellie Stamps set. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of different things with them. The first stamp that I have stamped, I used a teal coloured ink and I stamped that onto some spare white cardstock, sort of creating my own embellishments here really. So I cut that out on white and just placed it on. I'm sort of just placing everything at the moment. I'm not going to commit to gluing everything down until I have actually stamped out a few more of these stamps. So this one here is a bit more of a solid stamp, so it did take me a few goes to get a nice solid appearance on it, just because I didn't prep the stamp like I should have beforehand, so it did take me 3 goes. That's the beauty of using those sand erasers, or just a regular eraser works too, before you do the stamping, is you don't need to do all that practice stamping first. I trimmed the other stamp that I'd done, the more coffee stamp, down a little bit more just to tidy that up so that I could work out where everything was going. And these stickers from the sticker book are, I guess they're kind of vellum, they're transparent anyway, and that wasn't really going to work with the way I wanted to use them. So most of these stickers I am sticking onto white cardstock as well, and just creating little embellishments with them. Now I used that same teal ink to stamp the coffee stamp a couple of times on the left hand side of the page, and it doesn't really transfer on camera here very well, but it just adds this really nice depth, this sort of texture to that page, a little bit of extra patterning to it. I love that there's that really ghosty image of coffee in there too. I think this whole page is sort of about coffee obviously, so that worked really nicely. Now here I am going to create another little embellishment for myself. There was a stamp in the stamp set that has a circular word with a little coffee cup in the middle, and I stamped it on the white card and I sort of didn't love how it looked. It was quite boring, so I stamped it again on the same pattern paper, just the offcut from the right hand side, and then I'm going to cut out the little coffee cup that I stamped onto the white card, and I'm going to glue that on top of the pink one, and it just gives you this like two-toned embellishment. I love doing this sort of thing with stamps. You get this really fun look, but everything's still super flat, which is obviously what I'm attempting to do in a notebook. I love texture, but it doesn't work for these big fat notebooks, so I want to keep everything as flat as I can. Now this label that I had stuck down onto the cardboard, I wanted to stamp on top of it Boss Lady Fuel. It's a vellum and it does have a little bit of texture to it, these stickers, but I was still concerned about how much was going to rub off, or I needed something to stick permanently, so I did use some Stays On ink on that one, and it actually still did take quite a while to dry on there. You can see when I flipped it over to glue it, it actually has left a mark on my desk, so I'm glad I didn't use my Memento ink. That definitely would have spilled everywhere, I'm sure. I'm finally committing to sticking some of those embellishments down, which means I can then stamp directly onto my photo with my Memento Tuxedo black ink. And I feel like I need to add a few little black elements onto here, because once I stamped that Boss Lady Fuel in black, that was really the only thing on the page that was black. Although when I look at it now, the branding strip at the top on the right hand side is quite dark too. There's a lot of black on there too, so that ties it all in together. I added a black sticker onto the left hand side of the page, and I stamped on my photo in black, and I added a tiny little transparent sticker to the bottom photo, which is also in black, and it just gives me those few little pops of black to just break up the quite heavily pink and teal theme. Obviously I'm not going to apologize for that, because it's always my favorite, and I think when you've got something that works for you, there's no reason that you have to force yourself to do something else. Now I had these cute little puffy stickers from the All Heart collection too, so I was just picking out a few of them. They're not particularly coffee themed. There was one coffee cup on there, so I did add that in, and a little camera and what do you call it, like the Instagram heart sort of stickers, so definitely added those. And there was a donut in there too. I know that what I had was a cake rather than a donut, but it still kind of works for me. Just added my journaling in a teal blue pen, and then I can call that page all done. I love how this page turned out. I always love the Kellie Stamps coffee sets, and if you do too, make sure you head over and check out the shop because they always sell out quickly. And for those of you who don't enjoy a coffee, there is also a really fun tea set over there for you as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, don't forget to check out my Patreon page because there are even more videos over there. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys!